now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. And we are back. It is Saturday. There are college football games taking place. The NBA is in preseason. MLB is in its playoffs, but week six of the NFL season is here. I'm very excited for this week's games. I feel like there's going to be a couple of really, really good games that are kind of going to be like a little must watch, especially for me as an AFC North fan. Like there's some games that are going to have. They're going to mean something this week. My game in particular is not going to be fun to watch. I'll be there working. So, but I'm excited to get this week rolling, get this week started, get the show started. Evo, my man, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. And I'll put this out now. Forgive me if there's any sort of technical difficulties. I've already had a couple of them today. The computer decided to not let my mic work, so I restarted the computer. And you know, when Microsoft Windows gives you the option, is like, hey, there's an update ready. Do you want to update now, or do you just want to shut down? And so I said shut down, and then the computer starts up and it's like, no, we're doing the update, motherfucker. So did the update, and now that I'm on, I keep on getting the Wi-Fi issue pop-up thing here while we're going, like right now.
Yep, that just happened again.
Yeah. So forgive me for that. I might have to reset my internet.
That's okay. I'm like, hey, we're going to make it work. We're going to get through all these picks. So it is what it is, but good call getting that out of the way. That way, when everybody starts realizing, oh no, things are not necessarily working exactly as we had hoped with the stream, we'll reset you real quick and we'll drive on. But man, it is an interesting day of football today because there's a lot of college games. Most of these games should not be close. A lot of them are not close, but some of them are actually currently right now a little closer than they should be. Now, Alabama has had a down year by everybody's standards, including the Alabama standard, but they're in a fairly close game right now, 13-24 against Arkansas, unranked Arkansas against number 11 Alabama. Arkansas has the ball. They're down 13-24 at 12:30 left. So there's still plenty of time in that game. And then Georgia, and now they look like they're the best team in the country, but they are not necessarily pulling away from a Vanderbilt. Vandy is better this year, sure, but it's still Vanderbilt. They're not a football school. That is a baseball school. So a couple of games that are a little closer than we'd expect. But if you turn the page, that's two SEC teams. We turn the page to the Big Ten. We got a couple of Big Ten teams kicking the shit out of a couple of Big Ten teams. We got Michigan beating the hell out of Indiana, and Ohio State absolutely stomping Purdue. I just turned that game off down here because I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. But there are some games later today. Oregon, Washington. That is going to be a fucking fantastic game. Possible playoff implications later on in the year because the Pac-12 has looked pretty goddamn good. So, Evo, have you been keeping up with the college football things that are going on and these big teams that, I mean, last night was an absolute shocker. Are we going to see any more shockers today?
We might. I mean, Arkansas is kind of keeping it close right now with Alabama, like you were saying. But for me, I have been doing a lot more focusing on, and we kind of talked about this before our little Thursday night show. I've been focusing more on the quarterback prospects because for my Minnesota Vikings, we might be looking on to next year and new quarterback situations. And so I've been paying a little bit more attention to that. Right now, we have 8+ guys that could be potential top 3 picks in this next upcoming draft. I've been paying attention to that.
Yeah. The quarterbacks have been spectacular this year. They're going to continue to be spectacular, I would imagine. And a guy that we think is going to go in this draft, well, maybe he leaves. Maybe he goes back to Colorado. But we already got our guys over at Squash and Sports sending us questions, thoughts on Colorado's fucking absolute collapse last night, blowing a 29-0 halftime lead. So I know you were talking about the quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders, where is he on that list right now for you? Does last night's collapse have anything to do with him, or is that them taking their foot off the gas and not burying Stanford when they probably should have.
I think that's a little bit more of that. This Colorado team, while they are much improved and they've got a lot of moxie about them, they're an average team right now. So week in and week out, they can go out and beat teams, but they're also going to get beat as well. This is going to be more of an even record style team. Shadur Sanders looks great. I'd like to see him put it all together consistently more often. And that's why I do think that if their season continues to go like it is going with some of these losses, you'll see him go back to Colorado, stay with dad, get those NIL deals, and hope together something that gets them in that top 25 ranking consistently. For me, Shadur Sanders, out of the 10 guys that I kind of have listed right now as quarterback prospects, I have him as like number 9, maybe 8, maybe 10. He's fluctuating towards the bottom half. And that to me means that he would be a 3rd or 4th round pick in this upcoming draft as of where it is right now. I think it probably would benefit him to go back. Then again, if you are being taken in those later rounds, you're normally taken in a situation where you can sit for a year or two and really build up that knowledge of the NFL game and hopefully come in, and you're not expected to start day one on a dog shit team or something like that. So it could be a good thing in the long run for him. But I think that him, his dad, that whole family, they're a little bit more about the accolades of things and trying to shoot for a number 1 overall pick is
right.
going to be more on his radar.
Yeah, I would expect that he's not going to want to hear he's going to be a 2nd round pick and not going to be a 3rd round pick. He's going to want to go in round 1. He's going to want to go 1 overall, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Caleb Williams looks still like the foregone conclusion at that spot. I don't know if we've been this set on a guy going number 1 this early since Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence we knew from the time that Trevor Lawrence was basically a fucking freshman that he was going to go to number 1 overall. We knew last year that Caleb Williams, when he decides to come out, looks like he's going to go fucking number 1. So maybe Shadur pushes off 1 year. Will stay for 1 more season and then come out. But that will also depend on what happens with who is drafting and if Caleb Williams decides he's going to come out. Because if a team like Chicago is holding that number 1 overall pick, it is unlikely that Caleb Williams will come out, or at least that's what he and his representation has said. Now, if a team like your Vikings finds a way to work their way down even farther down the rankings than they already are, that's a team that he would be willing to go to. Or maybe the Vikings can find a way to make a trade and go up and get number 1. Because everybody's going to want number 1 this year. Whoever owns number 1 is going to fleece somebody if they're not just taking Caleb Williams themselves. Yeah.
And look, once it gets closer to draft season and whatnot, we will definitely do a lot more deep diving into these quarterback prospects. I love me some Caleb Williams. Like, he looks great, but the other guys that are up there, I don't feel bad about if my team gets him in the 1st round. Now, this year,
Drake May. I love Drake May.
I said that I would trade 3 first-round picks this year for Anthony Richardson, right? So that's completely on the table again for me if it means that we are rebuilding this franchise and going up to get one of those top-end quarterbacks, including Caleb Williams. Now, if we are picking 15th or something like that, middle of the pack, it starts to lose a little bit of its value of sending 3 first-round picks to that top team. That's why tanking is unfortunately probably what Vikings fans can hope for the best, is that we finish bottom 5 in the league. That makes our 1st-round pick that much more valuable, and then we can package those picks and potentially a player or something like that in order to move up and try to get one of those top 2 guys. Because realistically, if we are picking that high, we want to go for a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. Like I said, there's a bunch of guys that I feel really comfortable with and be happy with moving forward in our future, because I think we are looking at 5 to 8 plus starters in the NFL out of this class. But we'll see. Before we go too much further, I'm going to jump out real quick and reset my modem so that way we don't have to deal with this for the rest of the time. You keep going with everything.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. I will go ahead and I'm going to break down our picks from last week while we're doing that, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, guys. So Evo's got to reset his internet. Kind of kind of figured that problem was coming at some point when we were getting ready for the show, checking all the stuff out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go a little share screen. I'm going to toss up our picks from last week. We'll discuss our picks from last week, and then we'll start diving into some other stuff. We'll start diving into some baseball. That's one of those things that's really in my wheelhouse. I love talking baseball. So we'll go there, and then hopefully by that time, Evil will be back, and we'll start diving into some NFL games. But let me go ahead and pull up this screen here. There we go. I'll fucking zoom in. All right. So I am on the left. Evo is on the right. So last week did not fucking start out very well at all. As you can see, those top 3 picks, loss. Commanders go out, they get fucking smacked. I may have jinxed us, but not jinxed us. I was gonna say on the show last week, as we were going through all these, that we have not missed a Thursday night football pick. I started to say it and I caught myself. I was like, wait, nope, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jinx this. That fucking happened anyways. The Commanders go out and they get their dicks kicked in. The Bills, another team that we absolutely expected to go out and get a dub, does not get it done. And this is a London game. We talked about travel, how it could be a little tough going out to England. And the Jags had already stayed in England for an entire week. So they had been there. They had been rested. They were on London time. And then, the Bills got to travel to go out there. It gave them a distinct advantage. That's why we decided we were going to go money line instead of the, dropping points, because the travel out there is so brutal and the Jags had been there. So they, Jags got it done. We did not. Bills money line did not hit. The Texans, oh my goodness, they were there. They had this game, what looked like in the bag for a little while. And then, late score, Atlanta finds a way to get it done. They win by 2 points, 1.5 for Evo there. Texans plus 1.5 did not hit because they lost by fucking 2. And I decided I was going to take the upset and take the Texans outright. That did not happen, even though I thought, man, it looked really good for a very, very long time. The Lions, that was easy. Evo and I split on our Colts-Titans pick. Anthony Richardson was able to play for a little bit. That team is really good when Anthony Richardson's able to play. I don't like the Texans team at all. I don't think that they're very good on offense. I believe that at this point, they need to start considering moving some assets. You can move off of a Derrick Henry. You can get something back for that, because they have a capable running back in Tajay Spears right behind him who can step in and be very explosive for that offense. They also have a quarterback in Ryan Tannehill who has proven that he cannot get the job done. You may be able to get a pick back for Ryan Tannehill because you're not going anywhere this year. Don't let these guys, sit on your books, continue to kind of waste away, because this offense is not going anywhere. Flip them, get some picks, start a rebuild, and then if all things don't work out, you can send I just forgot the head coach's name. Mike Vrabel. You can send Mike Vrabel, up the road to Cleveland, because I'm fairly certain that Kevin Stefanski is going to get fired at some point this year. Or if Ryan Day gets let go, we can send Mike Vrabel down to Ohio State. That works for me too. I love the way Vrabel coaches, but right now this team is not built to win. So in my opinion, they should move off of some assets and, really, really consider a reset rebuild, kind of like Evo's Vikings are in this year. Dolphins, that was easy. The Dolphins are so goddamn explosive. So that was pretty simple. And then Evo and I also disagreed. Patriots, Saints. Listen, I don't think the Saints are a very good team, and I think that's why Evo decided he was going to go with Patriots instead of Saints. The Saints are not a good team, but they're better than the Patriots because the Patriots are absolute dog shit. There is nothing good about this Patriots team. They cannot play offense. They don't know who their quarterback is. Bailey Zappi came in again. They are so in flux. They have got to figure out something. That is another team who's going to be searching for a quarterback when it comes draft time. Evo, you're back. You look like everything's holding steady so far. So just kind of went through our picks right now. Dude, the Texans was a heartbreaker. I thought we both had that one. And then our Saints Patriots split there.
Yeah. I was actually watching on the YouTube as you were going through it and waiting for my modem reset to go through. But yeah, so like you said, real tough beginning of the week. It was my worst week of the season so far. I don't know that anyone really expected the Bills to lose. Obviously, we didn't out there in London. But there might be something to that, which we'll talk a little bit about this week's London game. The Bills went out there on Thursday. Like they arrived in London on Thursday, whereas the Jags have been out there for more than a week. That might play into it a little bit.
I believe that may have played a factor.
Watch some stuff from other players who said, hey, when we went to Thursday or went out there for London games on Thursday, it was the worst, more tired than they've ever been for a game in their life, which makes you wonder, like, why are teams doing this if there's tangible evidence out there, like anecdotal or not, from players saying, please don't do this to us. We're going to be tired. It makes you question a little bit. I'm not concerned with the Bills, really. I'm concerned with the Bills' management of their time there. But yeah, you brought up the Titans as well. Look, they're a weird, scrappy team. Vrabel definitely could end up going there to Ohio State, but I still think that this is going to be a weird team that is close to 500 by the end of the season. Not that they're good. It's just that they are a scrappy team. Yeah, Patriots, dog shit. I don't know. Is this going to spell the end of Belichick's time?
I think he's probably just about done. Whether I don't think it'll be Robert Kraft saying, Bill, you're done, you're out. It'll be Bill saying, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not fucking doing this with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi anymore.
Well, that's the thing, is that a lot of Patriots copium right now is saying this is brilliant. This is Bill being brilliant as usual. He's just going to tank and get himself Caleb Williams here, and we're going to have another dynasty. And yeah, so I don't think that this is brilliance. No, I don't think it's brilliance. I think that this is just a bad team. That being said, if they're picking top 5, Bill might be like, all right, I can get rid of Zach Wilson 2.0 and Zach Wilson 2.5 and Zappy and Jones. Yeah. And I can move on to a regular, real quarterback. Looks like my internet is still shit, unfortunately.
It is still shitting out every once in a while. It is better than it was before, but you are still, every once in a while, sounding like a fucking robot. And then very quickly, everything is catching back up.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the eclipse for the funny shit today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, agreed.
But either way, I don't think it's brilliance. I think Bill might actually stick around for that if they're able to get a new quarterback in, but we'll see. We need to do better. I need to do better in my picks, and I hope to turn it around this week.
All right. Dude, so there were a couple games that I was shocked. Bills, I wasn't shocked, but I was disappointed because, they're playing the Jags. The travel's tough, but the Texans had that game in the bag, and then fucking Baltimore. I don't know what happened. But the AFC North is in complete tatters. Nobody's really very good right now. I believe the team leading is Pittsburgh, and they probably have the worst team on paper, but they're probably also the best coach team because Mike Tomlin does a fantastic job every fucking year. That's why he doesn't go under 500. So it very, very weird spot. And then we went on a great run in the second half, and then you got bit for picking the Packers. They got beat. So I don't expect to see too many more Packers picks from you unless they're playing the Bears.
And even then, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So I went 9-5, Evo 7-7. Our season record right now, I am 47, 29-2. Evo 49, 28-1. Pretty damn good. I do not have the percentages off the top of my head, but those are numbers that I can live with. I want to say that they are still somewhere around the 60% mark, if not just a little bit higher. Doing the quick math in my head there.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the math either. I'm not about math on a Saturday.
Yeah, fuck math. I actually really like math, but we started off the week pretty good, though. This week, Thursday night game, Chiefs go out. They get a good win. They were dominant for the most part in that win. Travis Kelce was a big factor in that game when all reports were that he may be a little limited because of the ankle, heavily spatted up. Probably got a shot. So, hey, they go out, they get a big-time dub. And let's see if we got a dub on Thursday. Let's see if we can continue getting more dubs throughout the week. But that's our picks. Are you ready to start diving in? Actually, you know what? Let's hit baseball real quick, and then we'll dive into the NFL. So MLB playoffs are going on still, and baseball season's essentially over, though, because my team's out, your team's out. Who gives a fuck? Oh, well, a lot of people, because people hate the fucking playoff format because all of the top seeds have been bounced from the playoffs. The delay, 5 days off, it was too much. It affected the way. Stop. Everybody who is a fan of one of these teams, just stop. I understand that you're sad that your team just got bounced out of the playoffs. It has absolutely nothing to do with a 5-day layoff. It has everything to do with the fact that your teams were not ready to play. Like, you didn't hit well. You didn't pitch well. If we want to talk about the Braves series, Spencer Strider was an absolute travesty. Also, maybe don't piss off Bryce Harper in the playoffs because he's just going to hit fucking nukes on you all day. The Dodgers couldn't hit. They couldn't pitch. Like, they had multiple MVP candidates on that team, and they just didn't show up. It had nothing to do with the format. So I don't want to hear that narrative. I'm excited to see the way the rest of this plays out, but I'm still firmly rooting for anybody but Houston. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing the Diamondbacks win it just because, used to live in Arizona. I got a lot of friends that are Diamondbacks fans. So that might be where my allegiance turns to now that most of these teams have been bounced out. Because it would be fun. I could get down with the Diamondbacks World Series. I'd be totally good with that. What I don't want to see is another fucking Houston World Series, though.
Yeah, look, the Arizona fans down here are excited for the Diamondbacks sweeping everybody. We'll see if they can continue on with it. I obviously sad to see my Twins get bounced, but it's going to happen when you have the most strikeouts, of any team, basically. So, look, they're swinging the bats. They're trying to get something happening. Wasn't able to happen. We far exceeded my expectations. I think we exceeded our own expectations, so I'm happy with it.
All right. I got nothing else for baseball. Baseball season is essentially over. We'll check back in once we get to the World Series or if anything crazy else pops up in that world. But I think without further ado, man, we're ready for some fucking NFL. You ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it. And
all right.
Again, apologies. I'm sitting here monitoring my internet. Ping's going crazy again. I just got that new modem like 6 months ago or something like that. Maybe I have to get a fucking new one. I don't know. Goddamn Cox internet. But anyways, one question for you. With that Thursday night game, were you sweating your pick a little bit?
I was. I got nervous. I got very, very nervous with the 10.5 there.
Because you points and they needed that field goal in order to get 11.
Yeah. So because they were able to pull it back within a score, I was like, okay, they're going to kick the field goal to just put this game away, because that ended the game right there. You don't need to go for it. You just take the points and the game is over. It's easy. You don't have to run another play. The only thing you have to do is get the snap down, and Harrison Butker is a fucking stud. So you put the ball in his hand or in his foot and you let him go win the game. Thank God that's the way it worked out. But yes, I was fucking sweating.
All righty. Well, that brings us to Sunday here. We've got our first game, which is going to be across the pond. Again, this is, I believe, the last of our London games, and we go into 2 games in Copenhagen, I believe, Germany. But we have the Ravens and the Titans being played in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The line is currently Baltimore -4.5 and over-under of 42.5. Again, talking about arrival times, the Ravens arrived in London on Monday. The Titans arrived on Thursday. And again, Buffalo, they arrived on Thursday as well and dropped one. So what do you think is going to happen here?
So that is a piece of information I did not know. However, it's not really going to change my pick. I don't like the Titans. I don't think they're a very good team. And before last week, I thought the Ravens looked pretty good. And then they go out and they throw up a snooze fest and they get beat by Pittsburgh. I still think that they're probably the better team. They have more dynamic weapons on that team. So I'm going to go with Baltimore, especially now that I know that they got there on Monday, but I'm only taking the money line, not dropping any points, because I don't know that either one of the, I know Tennessee is not very good. They'll be scrappy, sure. I'm not really sure how good Baltimore is now either, though. So just going Baltimore on the money line.
Yeah, this is a really tough one for me. I do think Baltimore is going to probably win this game, but the Ravens, like last week, just did not, like, there was tons of dropped passes and stuff, or dropped catches, I should say. They are definitely catered to be a little bit more of a running team, especially with Lamar Jackson back there. And that's what the Titans defense is prepped to do. They are prepped to be a run defense team. Also, they have a strong run game with Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears. So I'm actually going to take the Titans plus the points here. I don't think that they'll win, but I think that this game could be kept kind of close. The Titans keep on beating people that they shouldn't. I think that they could definitely cover this.
Okay. All right. So you're going to get better odds taking Titans plus the points. You're going to get that at what, minus 110? I believe the line is minus 220 for Baltimore outright for on the money line, which is where I'm going. So the better money is with Evo. I think the safer pick, though, which is rare that I have the safer pick of the two of us, is Baltimore probably on the money line.
Yeah. Safer pick, probably Baltimore in the money line. But that takes us to our next game, our regular morning games. We've got the Commanders and the Falcons being played in Georgia. The line currently is Atlanta minus 2.5, over under of 42.5, which is a pretty low over under. Quick stats for this game. Desmond Ridder, he's actually starting to look okay as long as he's playing at home. Ridder is 5-0 in his career straight up as a starter in Atlanta. Whenever he's playing at home, plays pretty well. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception as a home starter in those 5 games. He also is winless on the road as a starter as well.
Yeah, that's tough.
So where do you got this one, Mike?
So for me, man, I still am not convinced that the Falcons are really any good. They got a win last week, but and the Commanders, obviously, they got their fucking dicks kicked in. I feel like the Commanders get a bounce back. I don't know if they can win this game, but I think they're going to play much better than they did. And the Falcons have been terrible this year against the spread. So, I mean, they're 0-4 in their last 4 games against the spread. So I'm going to go Commanders, but I'm going to go Commanders plus the 2.5. I'm going to take the little padding. I'm not sure if they'll get the upset, but I believe this will be a very, very close game. We'll see if Ridder can keep his streak going. And if that's the case, maybe I'll start paying a little bit more attention to, Falcons at home with Ridder playing quarterback.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually just going to take the Falcons money line. I'm going to run with that stat. I considered dropping the 2.5 points. What I had told myself before the show was that if the point spread had changed and made it just Atlanta minus 2, I would be taking that. With the hook still there, I'm just going to take Atlanta to win here at home. The Commanders had some sort of special magic. They looked pretty good the first couple games. Since then, their defense has been questionable. Sam Howell still looks okay, but the offense hasn't been doing as much as it should be, especially with some of those weapons out there. So for me, I'm going to take the Falcons right now. Commanders aren't showing me enough. Who knows? Maybe Ridder gets hurt and it's a revenge game out there for Heineke.
Ooh, Heineke. Would it be revenge, though? I mean, the Commanders gave Heineke his opportunity.
Yeah, but he could have stayed there as the starter.
I mean, he could have. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We got a couple games we're already disagreeing. We're off to a very different start than we normally. We typically agree on a lot of the games. Yeah. 2 out of the first 3.
We very
going a little different directions.
We might continue to agree. We'll see. With our next one, this is definitely an interesting game, in my opinion. Out in Cincinnati, we have the Seahawks and the Bengals playing. Cincinnati is favored -3 on ESPN and Caesars Sportsbook, over under of 45. This is a Bengals team that actually looked like they came out to play last week. Burrow had himself a decent day. Jamar Chase had himself a really decent day, especially for fantasy. I believe 3 touchdowns.
Burger. Yeah, dropped a 50 burger.
Yeah. Look, the Bengals haven't looked great recently, and they were playing the Cardinals, who we know not a very good team, though the Cardinals did go out and beat Dallas and stuff like that. Like, they've surprised some people, but sooner or later, the Cardinals are going to be the Cardinals based on the roster that they have. Mm-hmm. And so they still were allowed 20 points. You know, the Cardinals still gave up 20 points, which points me to Bengals, their defense is questionable. Look, this is the first time in Burrow's career through 5 games that he's ranked bottom 7 in passing yards and in third down conversion rates. I still want to see consistency from Burrow and this Bengals offense. But that being said, Cincinnati is 6-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games versus the NFC. So odds are that the Bengals should win this one. Now the Seahawks, I mean, I still like their offense a lot. I don't know. I think this could be a close one. I think we're looking at an over as well.
Yeah, so I think the over is possible. And you brought up, Burrow looked better last week. Jamar Chase looked, really good last week. But they're going up against a really good opponent in the Seahawks, who have a very young, dynamic, fun secondary to go against. They will get into you. They will press you. And the Bengals had problems with the press. Now, granted, weather was not great when they played in Cleveland, but I don't think the weather's supposed to be great tomorrow for this game either. Should be I believe it's a little rainy. At least that it is here. Cincinnati is a long ways away. I'd have to check the weather report for that game specifically.
Right now, AccuWeather is showing 56 degrees, partly cloudy.
For tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little chilly, but I mean, it's going to be just fine. I really like the Seahawks. I really like the Seahawks defense. I love their fucking secondary. I think that I'm going to take the Seahawks plus the points here because the Bengals have not looked good. I almost thought about going Seahawks outright, but I'm going to take the points, even though I still think that the Seahawks can win this game because we have seen on numerous occasions the Bengals just really have not been the Bengals. Last week, is that what they actually are? Is that the team that they are again? Or did they just, have everything clicking for that 1 week? Seattle plus the 3 points for me.
And I'm going the same route. I like the Seattle offense. I like what they're able to put out there between the strong running game with Kenneth Walker, 3 really good receivers. Geno Smith is still looking average, above average at the very worst. And I kind of like the way that Seattle's defense plays versus, the defense that Cincinnati's putting out there. The offense is the question mark for Cincinnati. Cincinnati can have one of the best, if not the best offenses out there if Burrow is looking good, if he's getting the protection he needs. That offensive line for Cincinnati has been a sieve. Now, Jonah Williams, he played real good last week. But again, I need to see the consistency there. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, Seahawks plus the points.
All right.
Next up, 49ers and the Browns. No, we'll wait till afterwards for that one.
Yeah, let me drown in my sorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go to another barn burner here then. Panthers and the Dolphins being played out in Miami. The line currently is Miami minus 14, over under of 47.5. This is the Miami team that has Tua, who's 14-5 against the spread at home in his career. The Dolphins are the highest scoring team in the NFL this year, and the Panthers haven't won or covered a single game yet this year. I think this is Vegas kind of testing us here, saying, hey, are you willing to really drop the 14 points for the Dolphins, who should be able to win by that much? Me, I'm not able to do it because that is a huge point spread. I'm going Dolphins money line personally. I think that this should be an easy pick, Dolphins money line. I don't know that there's any way that the Panthers can win this game.
Yeah, Dolphins money line is the lock of the week, in my opinion. There's no reason that should not happen. Like, if you need to make a little bit of money, sure, go ahead, toss some money on Dolphins money line, but you're looking at minus 1,000 odds. So that's really tough. And you know what? Last week I took the Dolphins minus 12. I'm not sure I've ever taken a 14-point spread. I'm going to fucking do it this week, though. I think that they're so much better than the Panthers, man. And the Panthers are not good. And Bryce Young, for all the great things that he did in college and the hype around him, he is just he's not made the transition as well as everybody had hoped. He's just not there yet, man. The physical traits are not quite there. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I'm not sure how many points Carolina scores, if at all. So with over under 47.5, right, is what it's at now.
Yes.
I feel like the under is the right play, but then again, the Dolphins could score fucking 70. But I'm gonna go Dolphins. I'm gonna drop the 14 points. I'm gonna fucking strap in, and we'll see how this goes.
I mean, look, the one thing that the Dolphins have going against them right now is that Ashan is out. He's on IR. He's been very dynamic for them. But you've got Raheem Mostert, and I believe Jeff Wilson is either coming back this week or just started practicing. I'm not sure if he's playing this week, but you still have a good backfield with Mostert there that plays perfectly into that Dolphins scheme. I don't think we're going to see a big drop off there. Yeah, like you said, the 40 or 47.5 points, the Dolphins could put up 40 points, no problem. We've seen them put up 70. All right, so the safe play is the Dolphins. Just grab them. We got a question here real quick from Roberto Gussolini. Who's worse, the Panthers or the Broncos? The Panthers, in my opinion.
Fuck. It probably is the Panthers just because of the quarterback play. The reason that Denver's losing is not Russell Wilson's fault right now.
Yeah, the Broncos offense is actually average at points. The Panthers offense is struggling. They're sputtering. The Broncos have some good defensive players, but a bad scheme or something is going on there.
Yeah, this team does not fit the players that they have because Vance Joseph is an excellent defensive fucking coordinator. He has been throughout his entire career. I don't think he just all of a sudden forgot to fucking how to call a defense or set up a defense. I just think the scheme doesn't match the personnel.
Yeah. All righty. Ready for our next game?
I'm ready, brother.
All right. Next up, we have the Colts and the Jaguars playing in Jacksonville, Florida. The line is Jacksonville -4, over under of 44.5. Jacksonville, they're 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 meetings with Indianapolis. They've had their number as far as the spreads are concerned. And we have Gardner Minshew starting because Richardson is out with an AC joint separation. So, who you got in this game, Mike?
I'm going to go with the Jags. The Jags on the money line, though. I would typically, if this were going the other way, if Anthony Richardson were playing in this game, I would be going Colts plus the points. But I also don't think the line would be this big if that were the case, because the Colts are playing pretty decent football. But once again, the Jags are fantastic against the Colts. 14-2-1 against the spread since 2014 when they're going up against the Colts. I think they can cover. The Jags can cover, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the safer play here. I'm going to go Jags on the money line.
Yeah, I'm going Jags on the money line as well. I think the Colts will keep this a little bit closer. Minshew is capable. He's not going to blow anyone's doors off, but he is definitely capable. And you have a decent backfield out there for the Colts with Jonathan Taylor coming back. He's going to get mixed in more and more, getting that new contract out there now. And Zach Moss has been playing great. Michael Pittman's actually been getting mixed in pretty well as a receiver out there as well. So I think that this Colts offense will be able to be a little bit more competitive. Not so sure about the defense. But I think the Jags are the better team here. They'll probably win this game. If we're going off of our stats, we should be taking the Jags minus the points, but we'll just play it safe here. Jags money line.
All right, Jags money line. It is another question on this game. We're trying to set up. Looks like we're trying to set up a same game parlay for Roberto Gussolini. I still think it's Zach Moss.
Yeah, total yards, probably Zach Moss. I expect to see them at least rushing wise, probably get more close to a split number of carries. But Zach Moss is probably going to get a little bit more play, do a little bit better just because Jonathan Taylor is still trying to get mixed back in.
All right, we have a caller. All right, and Sexy Torres Shotguns is on the line. Oh, he hung up. All right, well, fuck him. I know that the ticker was ready. I bet he calls back.
This motherfucker.
I had to get everything set up as we were going. I didn't want to cut Evo off at mid-sentence and to bring him in. So,
yeah.
Torres,
Alrighty.
Feel free to call back.
Yeah, and I suppose we could wait a little bit, but I'm just going to start moving into the next
There he
one.
is.
Oh, never mind.
Go Colts, motherfucker.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Sexy Torres Shotguns, you are on with the Lineman Lounge. What's up, brother? How you doing? Torres, can you hear us? Oh, no. Oh, no. Torres.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hello.
Hang on. All right, we're kicking this. We're kicking this old school, Torres, because I just took you off of that. It worked one time. It didn't work another. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this thing, but we're going to have you on speakerphone. So what's going on, man?
All right, man. So, one, I told you that I was going to call, and I promised you a good time. Two, as soon as I remembered that you sent me a text, I was like, oh, crap. I need to watch this. And then you're on the Colts. So, question. What do you guys think of the whole, like, Jonathan Taylor getting a contract and then all of a sudden Moss stepping up?
I mean, I'm pumped for Jonathan Taylor. Running backs getting paid is fantastic, in my opinion. I think he'll continue to be a solid factor. Zach Moss stepping up and being a big role player in that offense is also great. That gives you a two-headed monster at running back. So Jonathan Taylor is not required to carry the entire load. When Anthony Richardson is back, he will also be able to add an added, dimension to the running game. And as he continues to develop as a passer, this offense can be very, very dynamic. You still need at least one more pass catcher, preferably a guy on the outside, and a tight end that you feel confident in going over the middle. I still think there's a couple pieces missing on this offense, but they're close, especially with Zach Moss kind of stepping up.
Molly Cox is the best. And if you think otherwise, kiss my ass. Also, I heard a rumor that Jerry Jeudy might be traded there. Here.
I mean, so Jerry Jeudy is depending on who you listen to, Steve Smith would not trade for him, would not have him on the squad. And if you ask Jerry Jeudy, Steve Smith can go fuck himself. I'm not a big Jerry Jeudy guy. He brings a nice speed element to an offense, can take the top off. But is he a difference maker? I don't think so.
Okay. Why do the Vikings suck?
I'll let Evo answer that. And he can't talk. I mean, he can hear you. Can you still hear him? Are you watching the show another way?
Yeah, I got it. I have it up.
Okay, so Evo, he can hear you. Go ahead and answer the man's question for him.
First of all, Moali Cox this year has 3 catches on 5 targets for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. He's having a great year. Obviously, he's the best. Which takes us to the Vikings. The Vikings are a very good team. They've been competitive in every game that they've played. Realistically, I see no reason why we couldn't have a perfect record right now if we weren't so goddamn turnover prone. It makes no fucking sense. And it's tough to say it's like just bad luck because the way that this continues to happen, it comes down to the players not putting out good product on the field. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of excuses why they're not winning. But at the end of the day, they are scoring less points than the opposing team.
There we go. Now we're hearing a little echo of Evo in the background. And I believe Torres should be just about caught up.
Yep, caught up. Super caught up. No, yeah, I'm just giving some shit. It's kind of crappy, like the Vikings are where they are. So just to throw another little stab out there, what's going on with the Browns? Why?
So I'm not going to get into that just yet. We're going to talk about that when we make our picks for the Browns. So stay tuned in. It's a shit show out here. It's an absolute
It is a shit show.
Shit show out here.
All right, but yeah, no, I'm actually camping right now. And then realized that I needed to call in. Wanted to chime in. Haven't been on this in a minute. Amber, you're number one fan over here. But I guess if you got nothing else, get your beer.
Okay, I can do that. I believe that producer Amber probably was listening, making sure she's cutting clips for us. So I either got to run upstairs or she's going to bring me a beer. But I will go ahead and I'll run upstairs real quick, and I'll see if I can't figure this thing the fuck out too. See if we can't get you coming through. All right, brother. I'll be right back.
All right, brother. Yeah.
Well, I don't know
Right
what
back.
I'm going to do here.
Can you guys hear him?
Fuck the Vikings.
I can hear Torres.
Well, I don't know.
I can hear Torres as well.
Hear him?
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I guess I get to entertain you guys for a moment while Mike runs and gets a beer. And I can't imagine why Torres would make him do this running on that bum leg of his. What a bad friend. But the Browns, I'll say this for Mike before he gets in his little piece. The Browns are a good team. Issues at head coach and quarterback. Their defense is still one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. Statistically, right now, the best in the league. That'll hopefully keep them a little bit closer in this game. But quarterback situation, obviously a fumble of the bag, getting rid of Baker Mayfield at this point and bringing in Deshaun Watson. They could have done a lot of different things.
All right. Were you guys able to talk to each other while I was gone?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing. Why it won't work now.
Hey, this is the show of technical difficulties.
Hell yeah. Hold on. Let's try this. Let's try actually plugging in all the fucking things, Mike. Oh.
There you is.
Torres, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, I was actually just listening to the YouTube video, and I was like, wait, I can't hear myself. He's back.
Okay. I had to turn your volume way down. Can we still hear? I can hear him.
Now, I can hear him as well, but I don't know if he can hear me.
I can hear you.
Fuck you.
Oh.
Here we go. Got it. Got it figured out, baby. All right.
Evo, you got a beer on you?
I do not. I have no alcohol in the house.
Well, because you're a pansy. Wow.
I have a liquid death because I like caring about my health.
He cares about his body. So I do not. I mean, I don't have a beer either. I have a nice craft cocktail from Southern Tier Distilling Company. A little vodka transfusion.
It looks like your sex transfusion is complete as well. So
Yeah, correct. Not sure what that means, but
right,
we'll go with that. I'm not going to shotgun this. I'm just going to chug as much as I can until I don't want to anymore. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Do you have any idea how much equipment is down in this room?
No, we definitely made a pact a couple of days ago. Say, I'm going to call in. You're going to shotgun. You're like, I will. I'll screenshot it and post it to Lineman Lounge.
All right. Post it to the Lineman Lounge. See if it says that I will shotgun a beer.
Damn it. Okay, fine.
No balls.
Anyway, well, I'm going to shotgun a beer.
Okay, I'm going to drink this because it's 8%, and I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, well, you're about to hear it. On you. Call it.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Oh, it's so cold.
I think you beat me.
I didn't finish it.
Oh,
Sexy Torres shotguns. It's been a while since we've done this. I appreciate you calling in, brother.
Of course, brother. Lineman Lounge, go Colts.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bud.
That was Sexy Torres shotguns. Now I remember why that this comes unplugged, because when it's plugged in, the echo is so bad. but we need it for the callers.
Absolutely. It's not bad on my end. It's just on your end, so it's not my problem.
It's so fucking hard to listen to anything when I have, because I'm getting 2 mics, 2 headphones, all coming in here. It's annoying as shit. But
nice. All right. Well, that can take us to our next game here. We
Hell
have
no.
the Saints and the Texans being played in Houston. The line is New Orleans -2, over under 42.5. New Orleans defense has looked pretty darn good as of late. But the Texans have also looked pretty good behind CJ Stroud. I mean, that's been something that we've kind of been hammering home. Stroud has looked great. No interceptions yet. Is this the week that he gets his first interception?
I don't know, man. I think that it's hard to tell with him when it's going to happen. Like, he has been so precise with his decision making. That's why he's not making any turn. That's not why he's not throwing any picks. If it's not there, he's not forcing it. He's doing a great job of taking what the defense gives him, and we don't typically see that from a young guy coming into the NFL. They want to make the big play. I mean, it could happen. It could happen any week. But am I waiting for that moment where Stroud throws a pick and then we see like the downfall? Well, he's obviously human. Well, yeah, no shit. He's going to throw a pick at some point. It's not going to do anything though. The kid is special. Like, you listen to the way he talks. He was on the Pat McAfee show. He is very calm, very collected. Like, he is a fucking dude in this league. And I would expect that his progression is going to continue to go up. So I love what he is doing. But Saints have been really good, man.
Yeah, they've been decent. I'm not sold on this Saints team yet. I'm not sold on Derek Carr. It's the offense more than anything for the Saints for me. Carl Granson, look, they're having a decent job on the defense, but I think that this Texans offense is going to be able to do all right against them. I'm actually going to take the Texans plus the points here. I like the Texans. I like CJ Stroud, what he's doing out there. I like what Nico Collins has been doing. He's top 15 in the league right now as far as receiving leaders, or as far as wide receivers. So I'm a fan of that. It's not the Texans team that we're used to seeing. Within a year or two, they absolutely be very competitive.
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, they're competitive now. They don't have enough to put together as many. Yeah. I'm just looking. You know what? I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna fucking do it again. Texans money line. Did it last week when you took the points. I'm gonna do it again. One of these times it's gonna hit. They're gonna beat a team that they shouldn't. This might be the week. Maybe he throws a pick, but I think the Texans are good enough to beat the Saints. Going with Texans money line.
All righty. Next up, we have the Patriots and the Raiders in Vegas. The line is Las Vegas -3, over under of 41.5. An interesting one because New England is 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. Belichick is 0-2 in his career versus McDaniels, his old protege there. And the Raiders have actually failed to cover in their last 3 games after a win. So it kind of pushes you away from wanting to take the points or drop the points there. But Mac Jones, he is 0-12 straight up and against the spread when he is an underdog in those last 12 starts. When the Patriots are underdogs, Mac Jones is dog shit. And they've been dog shit the past 2 weeks. You have to think at some point in time, Belichick is going to turn things around a little bit, but I'm not banking on it just yet. I'm going to be going Raiders here, and I'm actually just going to go Raiders money line. I'm not going to drop the points because I don't like either of these teams too much, but I do like the Raiders a little bit better than the Pats at this point.
Okay, so we talked about pretty much they were blue in the face. Yes. All of these comments that came in, Evo was going to probably start tossing up there. Very funny, guys. That was potentially the name of the show before. When I was workshopping names, Torres wanted it to be Mike's tight end so bad. It will never be Mike's tight end, though. Not because my tight end's not tight. Anyways, they're terrible. The Patriots are absolutely fucking terrible. Mac Jones is awful against the spread. The Raiders, are also not very good, though. And Josh McDaniels going up against Bill Belichick. Can he finally beat him? No, because fucking Josh McDaniels is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. Bill Belichick doesn't have a ton of talent on that team, but he is not a bad coach. I think the Patriots are going to win this game. I really do. I'm going to take the Patriots on the money line in an absolute should not bet this other than the fact that Josh McDaniels is such a fucking shit coach and all of Belichick's disciples do a terrible job going up against Coach Belichick. That is literally the only reason I'm doing this. I'm taking the Patriots.
Now we've got Patriots fan here, Benjamin Norwood, who's a fan of New England, saying Raiders 42, New England 9. What do you think is happening right now? Do you think that they're going to be tanking for Caleb Williams? Do you think Belichick's a genius out there, Norwood? I want to see a response here before too long. You could do a segment called Mike's TigGN and rate the best tight end of the week.
I don't want to talk about Travis Kelce every fucking week. The NFL is doing that enough with Taylor Swift that I don't need to talk about Travis Kelce every week because that's who's going to be the best tight end every week. And except for the games where George Kittle pops off for 3 tuds.
All righty. And Norwood says that they will never tank unintentionally. Or wait, it might happen unironically or unintentionally. Okay, so not an intentional tank. It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think Bill definitely doesn't have it in him. He's the fucking GM and the coach. He's not going to tank. He's going to go out there and try to win this game. Now, if the chips fall where they may and they end up being dog shit, then sure, he might stick around to start a rebuild with a quarterback that he actually wants. Because maybe they wanted Mac Jones. That was the storyline when Mac came out, right? That, he is a perfect fit for fucking Bill Belichick. Your standard ass vanilla white bread quarterback is going to go to the Patriots and he's going to be great because that's what Tom Brady was. But that was a nice fun storyline, but they're not the same. So did they ever really want him or was that their only goddamn option at that point, the way the draft fell? So tough to say, but I don't think Mac Jones will be on this team next year.
I mean, he's still going to be under contract, right? They can leave him around as a backup.
I believe that they will cut him or try to trade him somewhere, anywhere to get him out of the room so you don't end up with a Zach Wilson situation. And then Bailey Zappi can be your backup or your bridge to whoever your new rookie is.
Okay. Well, with that, we can move on to our next one. We have the Arizona Cardinals versus the LA Rams out in Inglewood, California. The line is currently Rams -7. I believe this actually moved. It was -6 previously. Over under a 47.5. Cardinals without their probably best offensive weapon and James Conner, who's been placed on the IR. Now you have a bunch of no-name guys that are out there at running back. DeMercado or something like that. Everyone thought based on his performance last week, he was going to be the number 1 back. He's actually on the depth chart, 2nd back behind another guy that I've got no idea who the fuck he is. But look, the Rams, they've actually looked pretty good this year, completely against my take originally, saying that the Rams are going to be one of the worst teams in football. Kupp is back. You've got Puka Nacua looking like the real deal. And the Rams are 9-2-1 against the spread in their last 12 games versus the Cardinals. I think that the Rams should win this one. They should win it by about 10 points. I still am going to take just the Rams money line. Safe bet.
So I'm going to follow suit, man. I'm going to Rams money line. James Conner is the best weapon. Now Dobbs has played really well. And Cardinals have played everybody close. The Rams haven't been way better than anybody thought. They are 10-2 against the spread under Sean McVay against the Cardinals. So they are, by all accounts, they should win this game. All the stats back up the Rams should win this game, but I'm not going to drop the points because Cardinals are scrappy and the Rams are a surprise. It's not that we don't know who they are, but they're a surprise right now. They are way better than we thought they would be. if they'll keep that up, we'll see.
I think really it's a credit to coaching. It's a credit to coaching out there.
Sean McVay's a stud, man.
Yeah. All right. Next game, we have the Eagles at the Jets out there in New Jersey. Line is currently Philadelphia -6.5, over under 41.5. I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
When's the last time that the Jets have beaten the Eagles?
Oh God. Fucking never. Have they ever beaten them?
0 times. The Jets have never in the history of the Jets beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 0-12 straight up.
Yeah.
And 1-11 against the spread against the Eagles.
1-11 against the spread.
Now is this the week?
No, this is not the fucking week. Zach Wilson's playing, right? Listen, Zach has showed a marked improvement from the guy that I have buried over the last 2 years, over the last couple of weeks. He's been much better, but it's not enough. Not even fucking close to enough. The Eagles can win this game probably by 2 touchdowns, but that Jets defense, they know how good they are. They are keeping these guys, the offense, in games, and Zach is getting close to winning them games. So I'm not going to drop the points for the Eagles. They're 1-11 against the spread, the Jets are. I believe that they can be 2-11 against the spread after this week, but they are not winning this fucking game. Eagles, money line.
Yep. Now, last week, after having a pretty darn good week the week before, Zach Wilson, 19-26, 199 yards, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. He also ran the ball 3 times for 26 yards. So it wasn't as good as
line is fucking killing him, though.
Yeah, I believe Elijah Vera Tucker out for the year with an injury as well. Doesn't help things out.
Listen, 19 of 26 for Zach Wilson is a fucking great day.
Yeah. And you also in this game had Breece Hall 22 carries, 177 yards and a touchdown. Now, when we said Breece Hall was going to have the chains taken off him, he was going to be allowed to do his thing, this is what we're talking about. All right. He was able to go out there and show that he is a competent number 1 back in this league. I don't see the Jets win this game. I don't. But the Eagles, like I've been saying every week, they are 5-0, but they haven't looked good yet. Like
they're winning ugly, like your team did last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit better than that probably, but I mean that like the talent on this team is so much better than what we're seeing now. Jalen Carter, I'm not sure of his status on this game. Earlier in the week, he had come up with an injury. You also have this offense that, again, I do not like the offensive coordination down there. I think that them losing Steichen has dramatically hurt that offense. I'm going to take the Jets plus the points on this one. As a little bit of a flyer.
Plus 7.
The easy bet here is Eagles money line. If you are trying to put together a big parlay, Eagles money line. I'm just going to go ahead and take a flyer here. Jets plus the points. I think that this game could be a lot closer than Eagles fans would like.
All right. So we got some comments coming in here. Down Jalen Carter, Slay is out, and they have down to their 3rd safety as well for the Eagles. They only have one of their starting cornerbacks. So Zach Wilson's going to have opportunities to maybe get rid of the ball, get the ball in the hands of playmakers, and keep this thing close. We'll see if he can do it.
All righty.
I don't know.
Look, the Eagles are a better team. They just are. But the Eagles have to start playing like they are one of the top 2 best teams in the NFC. They just haven't. Like, we haven't seen it yet. So that's where it's at for me. Next up, we have the Lions and Buccaneers being played in Tampa. The line is Detroit -3, over under of 42.5. We've got the 4-1 Lions versus the 3-1 Bucs, which is unexpected. Now they're 3-1 because they had themselves a little bye week last week. Jahmyr Gibbs out in this game for the Lions, but he hasn't been getting a ton of play. It's all been David Montgomery up there, right? So that might not matter too much. Jared Goff has been playing fantastic at home. They are not at home this week, so we'll probably put up an average or mediocre type of session out there. On the flip side, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is making everyone in Cleveland question, why the fuck did we get rid of this dude? The chip on his shoulder has grown well beyond the size of a Dorito. And we're talking about one of those Restaurante style big ass fucking tortilla chips. He's got a great chip on his shoulder, always has, always will. And he's starting to look the part down there a little bit. Where do you got this game, Mike? Detroit -3.
Man, I really like what Baker's doing. I'm rooting for Baker, man. I hope that he performs very, very well. But I think the Lions are still a better team right now. I think they're probably more well coached. And the loss of Jahmyr Gibbs, while it is disappointing, I don't think it makes that big of a difference because he has not been an integral part of that offense. He gets a shot. He gets maybe 10 touches a game, but he is not a focal point in this offense at all. And they haven't needed him to be. So I'm not sure if that makes a big difference. I'm going to go with the Lions on the money line. I'm not dropping any points here because they are not going to be at home. They're going down to Tampa. Tampa is going to be very, very warm. It's complete 180 from what the fuck it feels like in Detroit right now. And that can be tough for teams up north going down when the weather starts to change and it's colder. And then all of a sudden you go down to Tampa and it's fucking 89 degrees outside with 100% humidity. You're like, okay, this fucking sucks. Can we go back inside our temperature controlled dome? I think that the Lions are good enough to win. So I will stick with that, not giving up any points though.
Yeah. And I'm going to stick with the safe bets here, Lions money line. But in reality, I think that the Lions are going to fucking curb stomp the Bucks. Honestly, I think that this is more of our 10-point spread type game, to be completely honest. The Bucks beat the Vikings in a 4 or 5 turnover game, and they barely beat us. They beat the Bears, one of the worst teams in football. They lost to the Eagles by double digits, one of the better teams in the NFC, and they beat the Saints, who I think are not that great of a team personally. I haven't seen the Bucks play against a good team and hang tight with them, really. I just haven't. The closest is with my Vikings, and the Vikings gave them the ball so fucking much.
Yeah.
And they still only beat us by 3. All right. That should have been 14 plus points that they beat us by. So I think Baker's having a great year. I don't think that they've had true competition yet against the Eagles, and the Eagles showed them that they're not that great. So to me, I like this Lions team a lot. I think that they are top 5 at least in the NFC, and they're going to show it against the Bucks. Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right.
So Lions money line.
Lions by $1 billion is what I heard.
Lions
by $1 billion? Is that what I'm saying?
Lions by at least 10, but I'm just going to go money line because it's the safe bet here.
Lions,
it's not going to net me a whole bunch else to go -3 there. All right, that takes us to our Sunday night game, the Giants and the Bills. When's the last time that the Giants have lost in New York State, Mike?
I don't know, but I'm excited for you to tell me.
1993.
Wow. The Giants have been that good, huh?
They've only played in New York State twice since then. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the only team from New York is going to beat the shit out of the team from New Jersey this week. Yeah. Is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, you have Daniel Jones out of this game. Giants are one of 3 teams that have not covered a single game yet this year. The Giants have a negative 25-point differential, which is worst in the NFL. And then the Bills, after a loss, are 7-3-1 against the spread, averaging 31.3 points per game and 16.7 opponents' points per game. The Bills are good after a loss. Last week should not be some indicator that the Bills are, struggling again. They made a dumb decision going out to London on Thursday. Yeah. All right. The Bills are a better team here. They're a very good team, one of the top in the AFC still. The line is Buffalo -15, though. Over under 44. I'm not touching that. I feel bad for whoever the Giants are going to trot out there at quarterback, though.
Because the fact that Daniel Jones is not playing in this game is going to make this fucking worse.
Yeah. That's like and what Andrew Thomas is still not playing. at tackle out there. Like that offensive line is unbelievable.
Fucking Saquon's not playing.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones ain't playing. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm not sure if this is a call for the show or a call for me.
No.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. Either way, the Giants are they're going to be struggling to get another win here anytime soon.
I'm doing a podcast, okay? Talk to you after.
So I can't do the Bills minus 15. I can't have them lay 15. They should win by at least that much. But this is an NFL game. It's a primetime game. It'll probably end up being closer than it should be. But damn, the Bills are just head and shoulders above these Giants. They don't think they stand any chance. So just like we kind of said earlier, if you're looking to just add a game to a parlay here of a team that should win hands down, it's the Bills. It's money line for me.
Minus 1,400 on the line there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the lock of the week. Fucking Bills over the quarterbackless Giants. Now, how wild would it be if Daniel Jones sits out this game and the Giants look competitive? The Giants go out and they play a decent fucking game.
Well, it is Tyrod Taylor going out there, I believe, as the quarterback this week. So he's not like terrible. I don't know.
Was that terrible? Because you broke up there. Was that he's not terrible? Is what you were saying?
He's not terrible. Like,
okay,
he's a solid backup. So I mean, I suppose there's a possibility or a world where he actually has a decent day. It's just I don't know how you have a decent day behind that offensive line with no receiving talent on that team beyond Darren Waller, not having a decent running back room. Matt Breida is okay as a second running back, but he's no Saquon, and a defense that outside of your, defensive line is terrible. I don't see any way that they're staying competitive.
I don't see any way that they're staying competitive in this game either. I really want to drop the points, but I just took the biggest spread I've ever taken earlier in the show at minus 14. I'm not taking minus 15 right afterward. Now, if the line had stayed where it had opened at Bills minus 12, I fucking hammer that because the Bills are 2 touchdowns better than the Giants on a bad day, let alone 2 touchdowns better when they have no fucking weapons. They're starting quarterbacks out and all of the things that are going on. So the answer is Bills money line. It's easy. If only the spread had stayed even remotely close to what it was, minus 12, I'd have taken for sure. Minus 15, that's 3 scores. That's a lot. That's a lot in an NFL game.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Monday Night Football. This will be an interesting one, I think. Out in Inglewood, California, another game out there, back to back. We have the Cowboys facing the Chargers. Dallas is favored right now, minus 1.5, over under of 51. Dallas is 7-2 against the spread in road primetime games since 2021. Dallas is also 10-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 11 games after a loss. So that I believe we had this stat earlier in the year. They play pretty good after a loss. The Chargers, however, have actually covered their last 4 primetime games. You have Austin Eckler coming back saying he's 99% sure he's playing, which means he's playing. And you have Kellen Moore, offensive coordinating this game, maybe a little bit more oomph that he wants to kind of show, hey, Dallas, you fucked up by not keeping me there, not even maybe making me the head coach over your incompetent moon-faced doughboy of a head coach in Mike McCarthy. So, Mike, where do you got this game going?
I don't think that the Cowboys are actually that good. I really don't. After we saw them get dismantled, they have not played anybody else besides the 49ers, and the 49ers absolutely fucking destroyed them. I do not think the Cowboys are actually that good. And that game opened up the floodgates for the fucking Dak hate. There is going to be a massive amount of pressure on Dak Prescott to go out and perform. And I don't know, Dak, under pressure in crucial situations, has tended to underperform. I do not think that the Chargers are a better team. And I believe that this game will be almost like a home game for the Cowboys in Southern California. because, well, the Chargers are not supposed to be in fucking LA. But I love what Herbert has been doing. I think that they are getting Austin Eckler back will make a big difference. That will help cut down on the amount of pressure or how effective the pressure is that Dallas is going to bring, because now you open up the dump outs to Eckler. I like the Chargers in this game to win, but I'm not going to do it because they're giving me points. I'm going to take the Chargers plus the points, and I think they actually win this game because I'm not convinced that the Cowboys are actually any fucking good.
Yeah, I'm in the same kind of boat here. All right, looking at the Dallas Cowboys, they trampled the New York Giants week 1. Giants are terrible. They beat the Jets 30-10 at home the next week. This is the Jets coming off of a game reeling where Zach Wilson was never supposed to see the field there again. And so this team is reeling, trying to figure out what their identity is going to be, how they're going to fix their season, right? Beat them 30-10. Understandable. Then they go and they lose to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
All right. Again, scrappy team, but they should have still beat them. Patriots, another terrible team, 38-3. But that wasn't much competition. And then the 49ers just completely outclassed them. Micah Parsons' comments about how we were a couple plays away.
No.
A couple plays ain't going to make up 32 points, young man. I'm sorry. It's just not. Look, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think Dallas is maybe better than you're giving them credit for, but I don't think they're a good team. I think that they're an average team with the potential to have an explosive offense that can put up a lot of points some weeks. But I don't think it's going to necessarily be this week that they get another win. I like the Chargers to win this one as well. And I'm going to take the Chargers plus the points because they're giving it to me. I'll just hedge that bet a little bit more. I'm taking Chargers plus the 1.5 points. I wish it was not 1.5. I wish it was like 2.
So that's, I believe, that's what I was looking at. It said 2. That's what it opened up at. So it's Chargers plus 1.5 is what it is now.
Yeah, according to Caesars and on ESPN, we're at 1.5.
That doesn't change my mind. I'm still, because I think the Chargers are going to win.
Yeah, I think Herbert's going to have himself a pretty decent day out there. Having Eckler back, that's really what opens this offense up and makes them so much more potent there for the Chargers. The only thing that can really derail this Chargers team is if Bosa is sitting. He's questionable right now. And 2, if Brandon Staley steps on his dick and we come down to like a 4-0
If
play,
he fucking does it in prime time against the team that he should be, fire him on the fucking spot.
Yeah, that means he needs to be gone regardless.
Well, yes, but now you can't hide it now if that's what happens. Like on a prime time game against the Dallas fucking Cowboys, so everybody's gonna watch it, and you step on your crank and you lose your team the game. He's got to be fired. This is it. He has to. If they lose, losing's okay. But if he makes a boneheaded coaching decision that makes them lose this game, you got to be fired. Plain and simple.
All righty. Well, we can jump back in time real quick and go to our games. My Vikings will be playing at 10 a.m. versus the Bears in Chicago. The Bears who were able to go out and get a win last week. The line is currently Minnesota -3, over under of 43.5. There's not a lot that I have for this game. Stat-wise, Khalil Herbert, IR. He was kind of the explosion in their running back room. Roshan Johnson also out in this game. I was hoping that he would play because you get to see what he actually is a little bit. Not necessarily that I want to see him against my Vikings. You've got Deonta Foreman out there. I think I saw you pick him up in our league this morning.
I did. I had to because I had Khalil as one of my starting running backs on the team.
Yeah. The over is 5-0 in Bears games this season, which is interesting. That just kind of goes to show how bad their defense is. The Vikings are going to be without Justin Jefferson, who is on the IR. That sucks to see, especially when we hear reports about him already out there running around looking normal this week. Maybe the gun was jumped a little bit, but also I think that this is kind of precluding signs of, hey, the Vikings might actually be saying, let's phone this in for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
We re-signed Sean Mannion, fucking terrible at quarterback, to the practice squad. We also brought Colt McCoy in for a workout. Cousins has a no trade clause, but are there talks now of potentially moving him somewhere, getting some picks, and positioning ourselves better to be at the top end of this draft to get a quarterback? Because this is a very good team. Not that we're necessarily a quarterback away, but having someone who is a little bit more electric, like a Caleb Williams, would kind of be amazing. I never would have thought that we would have had a chance at this guy, and it kind of excites me to think, hey, maybe we might. We might. Either way, Jefferson not playing, what does that mean for the Vikings offense? I mean, it means something for that Bears defense. They don't have to triple cover one guy. They can kind of spread their system out a little bit more. I think that this could be all right for the Vikings, though. Look, Jordan Addison has looked pretty good. Osborne
touchdown last week.
Yeah, Osborne has looked good in previous years. This year he's had some drop issues, but now it's kind of going to be a little more on his shoulders. Him and Hawkinson, I think we're going to see those guys get the ball spread around a lot better. I kind of am interested to see how this affects our passing offense. I don't think it's going to be terrible for us. We still have a really good offense. The defense is going to be hyper aggressive against Justin Fields. I don't know if Fields is going to be able to take advantage of that. I do see us winning this game. I'm not dropping the points because the Vikings like to play everyone close. This is a rivalry game in division going into a hostile area there in Chicago. I'm going to take the Vikings to win this game. And next week we got the 49ers. That's going to be a blowout. But after that, we have a lot of games that are winnable, man. And it kind of scares me that we're going to become that middle of the road 8-win team. And that's going to take us out of some of these situations where we could potentially get a high pick. So I don't know. I hate the idea of tanking. I haven't had to think about tanking to get a guy or being one of the worst teams in the league to have a chance at a guy. I hate thinking about that. It's just I'm trying to focus on the positives of hey, maybe potentially we could get a generational quarterback, but we'll see. For me, Vikings money line, and we'll call it a day.
All right, so this is another game that I've kind of been back and forth on. You guys are better than what your record indicates. You guys are a lot better than what your record indicates. But turnovers have been so costly. The running game really has not got going at all. And losing Justin Jefferson for at least the next 4 weeks, that is going to put more onus on Kirk Cousins to find other guys like a TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, and the likes. But the running game has got to do something, and they just haven't. They have not been able to find a really nice balance, at least not what I have seen. Maybe you watched obviously Vikings games much more closely than I watched them, but it doesn't feel like that running game is where it was in years past. Even last year with a slower Dalvin Cook, it's still not there yet.
The running game hasn't been a focus. Last week, we definitely did not run the ball that much in total team, including Kirk Cousins. We had 18 runs for 70 yards. All right. It just hasn't been a focus. They've been so much more pass focused. Before that, the past 2 weeks, running game actually looked pretty good. I gave out those stats last week where efficiency wise and stuff like that, we are number 7, I believe, in the NFL as far as like rush efficiency and blocking, rush blocking and stuff like that. So it wasn't that bad. First couple of weeks, not so good. But again, this team is just so much more focused on being high-powered pass offense. So I do think that we will start to see the run mixed in a lot more.
Well, we're going to have to with Jefferson out for the next 4 weeks. So can they find that balance first week that Justin Jefferson is gone? Maybe, hopefully. But the Bears have been better. Well, the Bears haven't been better. Justin Fields has played better when he's throwing it to DJ Moore. But that's about it. Like, he still is not there. DJ Moore had one of the all-time, like, single-handed fucking great games a wide receiver has ever had last week. Basically won them the fucking game. Because I don't think another wide receiver caught a goddamn pass. I believe it was all tight ends and running backs outside of DJ Moore. No other fucking wide receiver caught a pass. That's not a sustainable model. Like, I don't know where the Bears need to do something. Obviously they just moved off of Chase Claypool. They could be looking for another wide receiver. Maybe they go out and try to make a move, but is this team actually going to go anywhere? You guys are kind of in a battle right now. Who wants the fucking first overall pick? You or the Bears? I mean, there are obviously a couple other teams sandwiched in between you guys because you're 5, they're 1 and 2, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So this is not going to be a great game. I think you guys should win. But it would not surprise me if the fucking Bears found a way to win. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings on the money line. They have been burning me all fucking year. But we're talking about
Me
the Bears.
too.
The fucking Bears, man, are awful. The Bears actually might not be the worst team in football, thanks to the team, one of the teams in New Jersey, the Giants. But they're fucking right there as being really goddamn bad. I'm gonna go Vikings money line.
All right, and you are right with that stat. Last week, DJ Moore 8 catches, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. The only other receptions were 5 catches from Cole Kmet and 2 catches from Robert Tonyan. So Equanimity, St. Brown had targets. Khalil Herbert had targets. Darnell Mooney had targets, but no receptions from those guys.
That's atrocious. How do you win a football game like that?
And that's the thing, is if you look at Justin Fields, if you look at his stats, he was 15 of 29, 282 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Those are not great numbers.
They're not. When you see that sort of a 15 of 29 and 4 touchdowns, that points towards some huge game-breaking plays, which is what DJ Moore had. That's not going to happen consistently. That's not going to happen every week.
Yeah, it's not at all sustainable. I don't know. Good for them last week. Congratulations. You fucked up our win streak on Thursday nights, but it's not sustainable. The Vikings are going to win this game, I think.
I hope so. Then again, even though I hope so, if we don't, I think it's kind of like, let's take us off
Caleb
life
Williams
support.
season, baby. Caleb Williams.
It's take us off life support and let's build towards the future.
Now, if you guys were for some reason to lose this game tomorrow, the tank is probably the tank is on. Does Kirk get moved before the trade deadline? If that is the case,
at that point, I hope so. Because at that point, like, let's just buy into this. Let's get as much as we can in return for him. Does it actually happen? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know if Kirk agrees to it with anybody.
Yeah, because he has no trade clause. He can pick and choose where he wants to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, even if he does get traded, he'll still can be a free agent next year. All right, so he can still pick and choose where he wants to go. But he is such a family guy. Oh, yeah. You know, like, he's big about his family. Every Tuesday he has off of work. He doesn't practice on Tuesdays. It is family day for him. Like, he is close to Michigan, where he grew up. This is the area that he wants to settle down, retire. He wants to retire a Viking. He said that. Like, he wants to finish his career here. He doesn't want to leave, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, the team, it's business at this point. Like, you got to try to move him. And I don't know if he will agree to a trade, even if it's only because he's going to be here for another half a season. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, is there a quarterback needy team right now that would even look remotely appealing to him? Because he's not going to go to New York. He's not fucking signing a no trade clause or getting rid of the no trade clause to go to the Jets.
He might, because when he ended up coming to the Vikings, it was between the Jets and the Vikings and whoever was going to pay him more. And he wanted to come to the Vikings because it was close to home. And we ended up edging out the Jets a little bit. But the Jets were interested in him before. They were courting him before, and he was seriously considering it. So it's possible. It's possible. I mean, that is a ready-built team minus a quarterback to make a long postseason run. So
listen, I think it would be great for the Jets. I don't know if that's great for Kirk. It'll be good for him for the rest of this year because that team's got weapons. Now, obviously, the Vikings have plenty of weapons, right? But you can go over to the AFC. You can throw to us some new weapons. You can build a profile, and then if you want to keep playing, you can go out and you can sign a new deal this year. But if the Vikings are going to go into tank mode, Justin Jefferson's not going to be there for at least the next 4 weeks. Doesn't it make a little bit of sense for him to maybe up his dollars? I know he doesn't want to leave. That's why I was like, where in middle America is there a football team that needs a quarterback? Because that's what Kirk Cousins is, right? He's a middle America guy.
Yeah, and he just needs to, like, whatever team is courting him needs to make sure that they have a Kohl's store close by, because he is a huge fan of shopping at Kohl's and using that Kohl's cash or
LL
whatever.
Bean, Coles, fucking all of those.
Yeah, and I honestly haven't given it a good amount of thought yet as to the situations, because I personally don't know that he is going to give up that trade clause. Like, even if it doesn't make any rational sense for him because he knows he's not going to be here next year, I don't know that he gives up that no trade clause, even if he's just going to sit on a burning ship. I don't know. Either way, we can move on to our next and final game of the week.
Can we not?
49ers and Browns.
All right, that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks. Appreciate you. It's been fun.
Yeah. This could be a tough one. 49ers and Browns being played in Cleveland. Mike will be there tomorrow. The line is currently San Francisco minus 9.5, over under of 36. Deshaun Watson not playing in this game. Yes.
Not playing. PJ
Not playing.
Walker will be getting the start.
Yeah, instead of DTR. Now the 49ers, they're the 9th team in the Super Bowl era to start 5-0 with a point differential of 99 or more points. 6 of the previous 8 teams that did this or had this stat ended up going to the Super Bowl. The 49ers look like the best team in football right now.
By a fucking pretty decent margin at this point, even.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to go out and try to bolster themselves even more here at the trade deadline to completely buy in. I hear there's a pass rusher that just got released from the Broncos that, they might have been looking at pass rushers from the Broncos already and getting Randy Gregory. They might be able to go out and get that guy. Yeah, he's got a couple more years on him, but still, as a situational guy, wouldn't be terrible.
Create depth on the defensive line. That's what the Eagles did.
Yeah. So, look, this 49ers team is fantastic. Your guys' team is in a weird spot. You still statistically have one of, if not the best defense in the NFL.
Correct.
The offense is
atrocious.
It's
atrocious. It's so bad. Look, okay. I'm going to try to take a breath and calm down and not scream into this microphone. We have got absolutely no shot tomorrow. I'm sure other Browns fans are going to be like, well, this is bullshit. Why would you say that? Go be a fan of some other team. Listen, I'm not going anywhere. I've been a fucking Browns fan for 35 years. Okay. That's what it is. But they're not good right now because we don't have a fucking quarterback. Period. Deshaun looked really good in one game. And then the next week he couldn't play. Our last images of Deshaun Watson on a fucking NFL football field were of him celebrating, cheering with Kevin Stefanski on a massive win when we absolutely needed it because we had lost Nick Chubb. That was the last image we saw of Deshaun Watson on a fucking football field. And now, 2 weeks in a row, he will not play. And we had a bye week in the middle. He has a shoulder injury, a rotator cuff injury. What I don't understand is if the last images that we saw of Deshaun Watson were on a fucking NFL field celebrating a great game and a win, and now he's 3 weeks removed and is still not playing, what the fuck happened in between that game and where we are now that he's still not playing? Did he not realize that he was hurt? That the injury was, that there was some sort of injury? Because he did lower his shoulder at one point during that game when we went out and stomped. God, I don't even remember who the fuck it was at this point now. So annoyed. But why are we not talking about how this injury happened? Where did this occur? And you know why we don't know that? Because nobody's talking to the fucking media. The Browns organization is hush hush. He has been behind closed doors. He practiced inside, didn't practice in front of media. The Browns organization is not giving out information about what is going on. DTR didn't know he was starting until 2 hours prior to the fucking game. I was in the stadium when it was figured out, and DTR didn't know. He said as much in an interview. I had no idea I was going to fucking play. Obviously, he's not going to perform well, and now we have PJ Walker going in. At least PJ knows a little bit of ahead of time. It's fucking mind-blowing how we could not know what our $250 million franchise quarterback is doing on a week-to-week basis and how he got hurt. Why don't we know what happened? Why don't we know what's going on? And I'm not gonna bag on Deshaun Watson for not playing. I know what it feels like to have a rotator cuff injury. I couldn't take my left arm and lift it above this level without being in severe pain. Every time I lifted my arm, I was creating tears in my biceps tendon. I know what a rotator cuff injury feels like. If he can't play, he can't play. But I want to know what the fuck happened. That's all I want to know. Because I got guys like David Njoku going out there with fucking second-degree burns over his entire upper half and balling out. But my fucking franchise quarterback isn't doing that. Like, we need answers as Cleveland fans. We absolutely need some fucking answers as to what is going on. Our defense is great. Our offense has been atrocious outside of the times that we've had Nick Chubb and one game from Deshaun Watson. The weather tomorrow is going to be dog shit. It is going to be rainy and cold. It's going to be a defensive game. It's going to be a running game. We are not going to have a strong running game with PJ Walker. There's no threat from PJ Walker. There's no threat because there's no Nick Chubb. We are going to get fucking rolled tomorrow. 49ers minus 9.5 is a goddamn slam dunk. That's where I'm going because I don't have a quarterback. Even though we paid one like he was the greatest quarterback on the planet at the time. Doesn't make sense. I want fucking answers as to why he's still not playing and what happened. Well, he probably could use a massage.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Well, for me,
You're breaking up?
Browns. I'm going to take the Browns plus the points. I wasn't breaking up. I'm taking the Browns plus the points.
Oh, okay. Ow.
I was waiting to say, wow. Browns plus the points, 9.5. I'm taking it because it is going to be a bad weather game. I think that the 49ers should win, though. They probably will win. Bad weather means that it could be a lot closer of a score. 9.5 would be a little bit tough. That's probably a ballsy pick by me because like the safe one is 49ers money line at that point. That being said, we did have a question here. $20 needs to make some money. What's a decently safe parlay to make on any game or multiple? You can wait to answer if this doesn't throw it at your feng shui. Now, I threw some things in Caesars here a little bit, which actually we've got some changes even to the spreads.
Really?
Miami is now minus 14.5. Not 14.
I'm still paying it.
But
Dolphins were minus 14.
So just to let you know, 20. I did a money line string here, 4 games. Dolphins money line, 49ers money line, Eagles money line, and Bills money line. And that still, as a 4-game parlay, is minus 111. We're not even in the positives. That's how rough that one is. So you can throw money on that and feel relatively confident in it, but you're not going to be making.
You're almost back to even money there. Yeah. Almost. And those games feel like locks. Like I really like Rams money line. I think that feels good. That'll get you a little bit better odds as well.
Throwing in the Rams money line there, that makes it a plus 145.
Okay. So now we're in the pluses. We both took the Rams. I feel good about the Rams. Did you have the Lions in there?
I did not put the Lions in this one. That's we're already looking at a 5-game parlay, and to only be getting plus 145 odds is kind of rough.
Yeah. So there are some games that obviously we had a couple games where we were completely off. We took different things. But some of these are such a slam dunk that you're not going to make any goddamn money on them. Like we were seeing, I think 3 or no, not quite 3. 2 games that are double-digit spreads and a third that's 9.5 with that last 49ers Browns game. Almost 3 games that are double-digit spreads this week. Not like this is a great week to build a bankroll, get a couple easy quick picks, get a little cash in your account, but you're not going to make a big boatload unless you're unless you're willing to take some massive risks this week.
Yeah, you need to kind of, unless you're going for the underdog play here. Like, I wonder if we were, let me see this real quick. I'm going to take those 3 games that are almost all double-digit spreads. And I'm going to pick the opposite spreads for these and see what we can come up with.
Ooh, wow.
All right.
I like that. That's nice.
NFL. So we are going to be taking the Panthers plus 14.5. San Francisco, Browns plus 9.5. And the Giants plus 15. I mean, that's fucking scary. And you're looking at plus 596 for your odds on those 3 games. Now, that is not necessarily all those teams that we know are going to lose winning, but that's each of them being given a significant amount of points. If you were to throw, $1 on that, you're making $6 back, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you're
60.
feeling ballsy, maybe that's a route to go. But I mean, some of those, man, I just do not feel good about the Giants keeping it within 15 points. That's tough.
No. The only reason I didn't take the points is because I already took the biggest spread I think I've ever taken with minus 14.
Yeah. So
good. Dolphins, Rams, Eagles, Bills. Brother, Lions would be the only one. That would be it, right?
49ers.
49ers should win for sure.
Yeah, I don't expect them.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, Dave. If 20, if you put the Niners in there and the Niners lose, I'm not gonna feel bad. Because that's gonna make me feel very nice about my life and what's happening with my team. But
in reality, you might want to, those games that are close to the double-digit spreads, you almost want to throw those out and not add them because and take a little bit more risky bets. But this is a tough week for betting. Just because these games that are
you got
locked,
a couple games though. Jags, you can take Jags. You can go Texans. I got them on the money line. Evo's taking them plus the points. I think Chargers we feel good about, but that is a tough game. There's going up against the Cowboys. There are a couple things out here where you can maybe finesse some stuff. Also, you could bet some alternate spreads to get yourself by an extra point. But yeah, it's a tough week to gamble.
Yeah. Then again, if we go in the words of Big Cat from Barstool, every game is a good game if you gamble on it.
Yes, it is.
So it'll make it all fun. But all right, man.
I think it's gonna be fun tomorrow. I want fucking Cleveland Browns Stadium.
Hey, we'll see. Maybe they surprise you a little bit.
That would be awesome. That would be fantastic.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up, bud.
Bert, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we're good.
All righty.
Fucking cat, man. Goddamn cats. But yeah, I'm ready, man. Are you ready to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah. Daddy got a piss.
All right. Guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. That is Evo. I even fucking hit that right this time. This is the Lineman Lounge. We are all over social media, Facebook group, Twitter at Lineman Lounge, Instagram. What else we got? We got Thread. I haven't been on fucking Threads in forever though, so don't check that. YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications every time that we go live. Interact with the show. You can go on any of our social medias. If you want to listen to the show, go to any podcast platform. But guys, we thank you. We appreciate you. Every time you guys come and join us, you spend some of your time away from whatever it is you're doing and invite us in. We cannot thank you enough for that. So we're going to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to go catch some college football and maybe eat some food. But love you guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. See you.